Extended through April 27th. Discover the D.R. Horton difference at drhorton.com. drhorton.com. D.R. Horton, America's builder and equal housing opportunity builder.
Enjoy your drive home with the John Curley Show.
You don't realize the connection you make through radio. Just this thing where people are stuck in their car and you develop this relationship.
Weekday afternoons from 3 to 7 on KIRO Newsradio.
Need to hire quality candidates fast? You need Indeed. Their video interview tool makes it easy and effortless to meet with candidates. Visit Indeed.com/credit.
ZipRecruiter is the place. ZipRecruiter is the place for talented teachers, savvy software developers, and master mixologists. ZipRecruiter is the place where you meet all these people and more. That's because ZipRecruiter is the place for job seekers who are looking for new opportunities. In fact, ZipRecruiter helps 10 million people with their job search every day, so you can find the right candidates right away. It's no wonder that ZipRecruiter is the place for skilled skydiving instructors, accomplished airbrush artists, and proficient pediatricians. But if you're not using ZipRecruiter to hire, you're missing out. ZipRecruiter is the place that's so confident it can make your hiring easier that it lets you try it for free at ZipRecruiter.com/free. So if you want the right candidates for all your roles, ZipRecruiter is the place to go. Try it for free at ZipRecruiter.com/free. That's ZipRecruiter.com/free. Never miss out on great candidates with ZipRecruiter.
Your best source for local news. KIRO News Radio. KIRO FM and HD1. Tacoma, Seattle. Northwest News.
This is CBS News on the Hour. Sponsored by Steel.
I'm Cammie McCormick. President Trump says he's putting pressure on both sides to win the war in Ukraine after another deadly Russian attack on the Ukrainian capital overnight.
I'm trying to put out the fire, and I think we'll be successful. And if we do, we're going to save a lot of lives.
The president lashed out at Vladimir Putin on Truth Social today. CBS's Ed O'Keefe at the White House.
Steve Witkoff, his lead envoy for these sensitive matters, expected to be in Russia in the coming days. But sending that signal through his own social media platform, one that's closely monitored by the world, to say, stop Putin and let's get this deal done. It signals that he's frustrated with both sides, clearly trying to put pressure on them, realizing that if this kind of violence continues, there's no hope for a deal.
There were a number of court actions today involving the administration's actions from DEI to sanctuary cities. Matt Piper has a wrap-up.
One federal judge has ruled President Trump's executive order that looks to crack down on sanctuary cities getting federal funding is likely unconstitutional. The injunction was sought by San Francisco and 15 other cities and counties. Another federal judge is blocking the administration from implementing a policy to end DEI or race-related school programs or risk losing federal funding. And another federal judge is blocking portions of Trump's order that sought to overhaul elections, including a provision to require proof of U.S. citizenship to register to vote in federal elections. Matt Piper, CBS News.
The administration, meanwhile, has asked the Supreme Court to allow enforcement of a ban on transgender service members while legal challenges proceed. Scott McFarland reports on a new FBI report that shows scammers and cyber criminals stole a record $16 billion from Americans last year.
The FBI is struck by these numbers so much because they've been taking down these ransomware networks, these big organizations engaging in fraud, yet the numbers are still going up. And there's a few reasons for that. First of all, there are more and more people carrying more and more devices, but also the techniques are getting more sophisticated. You use those artificial intelligence tools as a fraudster, you're able to perpetuate a more effective scheme.
A suburban Chicago man was sentenced today to 7 life terms for the 2022 shooting at a July 4th parade. Attorney Lance Northcutt.
Robert Crimo will rot in a cage where he belongs, that he will never see the light of day, that he will never breathe air with free people.
Police in New Jersey have charged a man with arson after he set wood pallets on fire. It's believed that sparked the Pine Barrens wildfire, the largest in the state in 2 decades. The smoke from that wildfire is affecting parts of New York City. On Wall Street, after a mixed bag of economic news, the Dow is currently up 430 points. This is CBS News.
Steel walk-behind, zero-turn, and stand-on mowers are built to get the job done. Shop online or at your local Steel dealer. Steel, let's go mow.
Gunfire shatters the quiet of a Spanaway neighborhood. That story coming up. But first, from the Beacon Plumbing Traffic Desk, I-5 northbound near the Nisqually Bridge is still slow, but much improved from an earlier crash. Travel time Olympia to Tacoma is 36 minutes, only 7 longer than usual. In addition to construction, WashDOT says a disabled vehicle was blocking a lane westbound on State Route 18 at the Tiger Mountain Summit. It's been cleared, but you're still backed up to I-90. Traffic brought to you by Beacon Plumbing. For all your heating, electrical, septic, and mechanical needs, stop freaking, call Beacon.
KIRO News Radio 97.3 FM Northwest News. Now, the latest from KIRO News Radio and mynorthwest.com.
Good afternoon, I'm Heather Bosch. Gunfire rocks the Spanaway neighborhood, leaving a young man dead in the middle of a cul-de-sac.
Up to 30 gunshots fired. Pierce County Deputy Carly Capetto says 10 of those bullets hit a home. Nobody inside was hurt.
When deputies arrived, they found the cul-de-sac littered with shell casings.
Deputies say the victim is between 18 and 20 years old. The cul-de-sac where it happened is just off 176th, a mile east of Highway 7. No arrests so far. Luke Ducey, KIRO News Radio.
A former JBLM soldier has been sentenced to life in prison for the murder of a Ready Cab driver in Tukwila. Jonathan Kang Lee pleaded guilty to first-degree murder, admitting he stabbed Nick Hokema in the back of the head and chest after an argument over a fare. Hokema's fiancé tells KIRO 7 TV.
This doesn't bring him back, and it doesn't complete that family picture, but he got some justice.
Lee had previously been convicted of child sex crimes. A federal grand jury has indicted a former Tacoma resident for damaging 6 power facilities in western Washington about 3 years ago. Prosecutors say 33-year-old Zachary Rosenthal and his accomplices did it so they could burglarize businesses once the power was out. Rosenthal is already in prison for vehicular assault. He also faces charges for allegedly damaging 2 power stations in Portland. His trial in Oregon is set to start in November. House Republicans walk out of a key committee after it passed a bill that would close 2 schools for the severely disabled. House Appropriations Committee Chair and Democrat Tim Ormsby.
Bringing this forward was a difficult decision for me personally and for all the committee members. Don't do it lightly.
He says moving residents from the Rainier School in Buckley and the Yakima Valley School to community adult homes would save more than $500,000 a year. Republicans call the plan cold-hearted. Seattle Mayor Bruce Harrell is asking residents to pay more to support students.
My proposal is for a 6-year, $1.3 billion renewal of the Family's Education Preschool Promise, and every one of our kids and every one of our families are worth every penny of that.
His plan includes investments in affordable child care, expands student safety and mental health resources, and provides free college tuition. The levy renewal is expected to be on the ballot in November. This weather update brought to you by State Roofing and Exteriors. Sunshine today with highs around 70. It's 59 in downtown Seattle. I'm Heather Bosch.
Your best source for local news, serving Western Washington and the world with a KIRO News Radio app. Always streaming live on your smart speakers. You're listening to KIRO News Radio, Northwest News. It's the all-new Jake and Spike Show on KIRO News Radio.
Welcome to the show. Happy Thursday. I'm Jake Skorheim. Spike O'Neill is off today because he is getting ready for his daughter's wedding, which we talked about a bunch yesterday. If you're interested, you can go and listen to the podcast. But filling in for Spike today is Tim Gatos. Tim, welcome to the show.
Hey, good to be here.
It's great to have you here. It's great to have you
Thank
here.
you so much. Always good to be here.
We have a lot to get to today. I have to get something off my chest, though. I was complaining to Laura a lot about this before the show, and then I thought I would just save it for the air because she doesn't need to listen to my problems all the time. She's not my therapist, so it's not fair.
Occasionally, a producer acts as a therapist.
They do.
In this case, I'd rather you just complain to everyone.
This is the thing. All right, and I think the text audience can also get back to us, and also on YouTube, our YouTube live page. If you guys want to comment there, I'd love to see your thoughts on this. 888-973-5476. That's our text line. Our YouTube page, just look up the Jake and Spike Show live, KIRO News Radio, YouTube, wherever you get that. You can find it. The cool thing, too, I was talking about this with Andrew, Chef, just before we got on the air. He said YouTube is really cool because you guys can go into the chat area. You guys can talk to each other. If you text us, you're just talking to one of us, which, I don't know, you might be bored by that. But the YouTube page is cool because you guys can talk to each other. So that's nice. And gets you out of our face, which is nice. Just joking. All right, so here's what happened this morning. And I'm normally like a really nice, friendly guy. I'm normally very upbeat, and if somebody slights me, I'm happy to turn the other cheek because the Lord tells me to, and I'm happy to do that usually.
Top attitude, right?
Top attitude.
Not anymore.
Thank you very much.
I feel like it's not anymore.
I was broken today.
Okay.
Something broke me today. I'll tell you what broke me. I got a bunch of sick kids in the house. I'm not sick, thank the Lord, but a couple of my kids are sick. And yesterday, yes, if you listen to the podcast yesterday, I was like saying, oh, these kids are weak. We're making them weak because they're taking like mental health days. As it turns out, they were actually vomiting. So later in the day.
I'm not sure that's a mental health day.
No, it's not mental. That's a pure health day that they needed. So I'm glad that they got the help that they needed, and God bless them, and they're going to get better, and my wife is taking excellent care of them. So that leads into last night. I am up all night with the kids. I love my wife. She's going to take care of the infant. We have a 10-month-old who sleeps in our room still until he's about a year old. So she's taking care of the baby. I'm sleeping in the hallway between two of my kids' rooms so that I can run back and forth as they get sick at different times.
Father of the year.
Well, I don't, your words, not mine. So I'm up all night. All night. I probably get 45 minutes of sleep at some point. But I'm running in between like buckets of you-know-what. And I'm helping the kids and doing my best to console them while at the same time, like, just trying to, like, you know, get through it. You're a parent, you know, you got 4 kids.
Yeah.
You know what it's like. Parents out there knows what it's like. So I'm exhausted. And I wake up, the morning gets going, and it's just one of those mornings where you're just getting out the door. Thank the Lord I could leave and go to work, because that is like a vacation. My poor wife, she's stuck in the house with, like, 2 of our 4 kids are sick, but they're very sick. So she has a fun time ahead of her. So then I get in the road, and I don't normally stop for food because I normally make that myself ahead of time because I'm thrifty.
Yeah, no buy 2025.
There you go.
Right?
Today I decided to buy, and so I go to Starbucks, and it starts horribly. I'm waiting in line. Do you guys ever wait in line in the car line at Starbucks, and you're waiting, and sometimes it extends beyond the drive-thru into the parking lot?
Every day.
Every day. So I'm waiting in the parking lot. And I'm not technically on Starbucks property, like in the proper drive-through line. I'm waiting. I'm now where, like, people should be parking their cars to go into wherever the store is. It's like I think it's a Marshall's, or I don't know what it is. I'm in the parking lot. I'm across the way. This guy drives in. He sees me waiting there, and the Starbucks line starts moving, and he just swoops in. And I'll tell you what.
Is this up in Lake Stevens, by the way?
This is up at the Lake Stevens Starbucks. He swoops in, and my blood just is already boiling, and I'm already very upset. And I'm like, "Hey, guy!" And I'm not quick on the horn.
Yeah,
I'm not one of those people. Although, if you are at a red light and you're looking at your phone and it turns to a green,
yeah, just a nice little half a honk.
You have a quarter of a second before I start honking at a green light. But this guy pulls in, and I'm like, "All right, you asked for it," so I just start honking my horn. He doesn't seem to care. He's in the line, and now he's just doing his thing, and he's ordering his food, which should be my food. He's taken my spot. He's stolen my spot. So that upsets me. Starbucks can't do anything about that. This is not my complaint about Starbucks. That's a personal complaint. That's to him. He's going to have to live with that. Someday in hell, he's going to have to answer for that. So then I put it behind me because there's bigger problems in life than, like, somebody cutting you off in a Starbucks line. Yeah, I'm a saint. So then I get through. I'm waiting, and I get through up to the window. And the person leans out the window. And here's my problem with Starbucks. And I would love people to give their opinion on YouTube right now, chat line, and also on the text line, what they do in this situation. And I'm kind of done with it. I don't know what to do with it. And so this is a new message. Who's the new CEO of Starbucks? Can you find that out real fast? He's a Chipotle guy. I have a message for him.
Brian Nichols, right?
Brian Nichols, I have a message for you. Where's my camera? Is this my camera right here? I want to look him in the eye. And I want Brian Nichols to see this. I want you to cut this video up and send it to Brian Nichols. I pull up to the drive-thru. I'm already spending $12 on a coffee, on a drip coffee, and an egg burrito. $12. Then the barista, loose-term barista, because they're just handing me my food, they hand me this little thing so I can pay by card. You guys have all seen this thing. They hand it to you in your car, although they keep their hands on it. They hand it to you before I even give them my card. This is a new thing. Tell me if you guys have already seen this. And I didn't know this was already a thing. She's like, select your tip amount. How much do you want to tip us? They haven't given me my food, so there's been no service. They haven't taken my card, so it's not even like at the end where maybe she's had a chance to impress me in some way to justify why I would spend extra money on a takeout. And so she's staring at me, and I'm like, well, I don't know. Do I put my card in? Do I stick it in? She goes, no, you got to choose first how much you're going to tip. I'm like, what do you mean?
She said that.
Yeah. And I said, what do you mean choose first how much I'm going to tip? That doesn't make any sense. They've done nothing for me. Why would I tip? $12 for a coffee and a burrito. $1, $2, $3, those are the options. Or you could, like, I guess if you wanted to, you could do another option. You could be like Santa Claus and just give them a ton of money. And I'm looking, and there's a glare because there's no, there's the sun shining down. It's beautiful weather outside, but I'm not seeing it. It's like just stormy in my heart. And I'm looking down at the thing, and I'm like, where do I find the no tip? And I have never hit the no tip button ever because I'm a saint. I'll always at least tip $1. And today something broke. What's his name again? CEO? What's his name?
Brian Nickel.
Brian Nickel. Brian. I like what you're doing at Starbucks. I like that you're revamping and you want it to be a family-friendly place where people can come in and just enjoy a good cup of coffee. I like that you've gotten rid of a bunch of the stupid stuff like the olive oils and everything. Change the tipping culture. It's gone too far. Before I even get my food, they're shoving a thing in my face saying, how much extra money? Like, why would I tip $3 on $12? The stellar amount of service that you would have for me to do a 30% tip would have to be so over the top, but especially for somebody who's literally just a middle person handing me my food. I'm watching this person. They're not making anything. They're not doing anything. They're just handing me my food. A drip coffee. Genius. How did you do that? $3? Ridiculous. So let me at least have some experience that earns the tip. Let me then decide it. And then the shame now, they just stare at you. They just stare at you. Does this guy drive you nuts? Does this drive you absolutely insane? They just stare at you. They're like, how much are you going to tip us? And I don't understand why they do it. And please answer me that question.
Yeah.
If you guys know, please answer me the question. Why are they doing this to us?
Well, go ahead.
Well, let's think about the reason why you always tip someone, right? You said
service.
You were like, hey, I'm always going to give someone a tip, right? Okay. And this was the first time that you've never done that.
I've never hit the no tip button
right?
before.
So they know that.
Now I'm never tipping again.
So they know that, right? They know if there's a certain kind of weight on us as consumers, right? That's like, oh man, like I'm going to look like such a jerk if
That's all it is.
If I put no tip right in front of them, right? Because they're there right in front of you. Yeah. I mean, you feel
shame.
bad.
It's shame. Laura, do you tip?
That's
do
exactly what I was going to say, is at least with the flippy iPad, which has also garnered many complaints, they won't just stand always and hover. They'll like walk away and start prepping your order, you know? But when they're holding it into your car at Starbucks and they're staring at you.
Staring at me.
And you have to like navigate to another screen and manually type in 0 or no tip.
And I didn't want to ask. I would have done it if I couldn't have found it. I didn't want to ask. And I swear there was like a moment like, and again, these are small problems. I understand that. These are small problems. I didn't get much sleep last night, which is why this is going the way it is. But there was a moment where I was like, do I ask this person where the no tip button is? And then if I do that, does she have time to do something negative to my order? Which is what I always kind of assume somebody's going to do.
Someone's going to spit in your food.
Like, are they going to not give me the amount of cream that I asked for? Or like, can they somehow make my burrito cold? I don't know if she has that power. She's not a magician.
Yeah.
But that's what I'm thinking in my head. Like, if I don't tip, are they going to do something? And I just, something snapped at me today.
Here's why you said you don't do that very often where you stop. And because I specifically at Starbucks always use the app, because when you use the app, going through the drive-thru, you don't have to go through that, right? And there's been times, and I've learned this, where it's like I'm out of money on the app, so I'll just give the credit card right then because you got people behind you.
Sure.
And then when you give the credit card, to your point, you're like, oh, okay, now I got to go through the whole tip rigmarole.
I'm done with it. I'm so sick of it.
Yeah.
I'm so sick of it, and I'm sick of them turning that stupid thing around right in your face to make you feel guilty. Like, money's really hard to make. I'm just giving away $3 because somebody hands me a coffee and an egg burrito. It just, and there's a, I don't know, maybe I'm just like.
Well, think of the things though, even now, like you go to some place and they hand you a Coke, right? That they're not even making it. Like here, they're actually making the coffee. I mean, you go to a place nowadays.
Not really when you think about it. They hit a button on a machine. My coffee comes out. It's not like they're like pulling, like when I worked at a coffee stand when I was 17, we would actually go in and there would be coffee pucks that you'd have to make, and you'd go in there and you'd like stamp it down, and Laura, you did this. You worked in coffee. You understand.
Yeah. You're dialing shots. You're counting.
There's a whole process.
Wait, they're not doing that at Starbucks anymore?
No, they hit a button.
They push a button. That's why the quality is so consistent, which is great when you're on a road trip. But
it doesn't justify the price. So, and then the food, like my burrito, they didn't cook that burrito. They just shoved it in a microwave. And then they handed it to me. $3? $3 tip? Can I get $3, please? It drives me crazy. I'm never doing it again. I'm actually thinking about a Starbucks strike until they stop doing this. I don't know if I'm the only one who's going to do it, but I'm thinking about never going there again until they stop like begging for tips. Before, like, does Starbucks get a cut of that? I don't understand. Is Starbucks getting a cut of that?
I think that would technically be wage theft, that any tips have to go and be divided amongst the employees. And when I was a barista on our online tip, because we did have one of those spinny iPads where people would tip us, we just divided it out based on the number of hours each employee had worked.
Gotcha.
So it was kind of even.
So the question, Jake, is this strike, is it just for Starbucks or is it for other places that do similar things?
Starbucks is the worst offender right now for me.
Yeah.
They're the ones who I am confronting this problem with the most when I go and get coffee. So they represent for me the evil that is spread in many different companies. Yeah. If I can avoid companies that force me to tip without any service, they don't force you to tip, try to guilt you into tipping without any service, I will henceforth try to do so because it's evil and somebody's got to take a stand. I mean, the world needs a hero. I'm happy to be that person. We need to stand up to this. This is no good. Laura, you were telling me you just don't tip anymore on drive-thrus, ever, right?
Yeah, is that bad?
Oh my gosh,
no,
Laura.
It makes you a hero.
Is that really bad?
No, it makes you a hero.
If I have a really good interaction, like if there's a really friendly conversation, I'll throw in a tip.
Sure.
But
yeah, but they've earned something.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, but they don't earn.
You do kind of have to earn it, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
Well, the
I just
hard
don't have
part
money
for,
like that.
Hard part for me is like you go to these places that now are charging. So I got a great lunch place up in Northgate. It's amazing, great food, but it's $21 for like a little takeout kind of thing. And I love these guys, right? The guys that do it, they're great guys. They're startup doing this amazing work, but it's like $21 though.
Yeah, it's insane.
It's like, okay,
it's insane.
Is that a markup or what's happening here? Do I tip on a $21 lunch plate?
I'm more willing to tip on a small mom and pop place like the one you're describing than a massive place like Starbucks. Right. Starbucks needs to figure this out, and I'm done with it. I'm really done with it. All right, can we get to something else real fast so I just don't complain the whole time? I need to offer some value. I want to offer value to my customers, which is the listeners, not just my complaints, but maybe if you guys are going through the same thing, let me know. 888-973-5476. Car break-ins. You guys hear about this? Did you guys hear about how bad car break-ins are in Washington?
We are the champions.
We're number one.
My friends.
We're number one for April. Listen to this. The average number of car break-ins in Washington is 133% higher than the national average. 133%.
Yeah.
Crazy. This is hilarious audio. Laura, set this up for us. This is a UW student describing a car break-in that happened.
Yeah, so a few months ago, there were like 50 cars along UW's Greek Row, and a group of guys in a car just went and just smashed windows like down the row. And so a couple of news stations went out and talked to some students who had some like pretty genuine reactions to what was probably their first experience with a car break-in.
Let's hear it.
And I just see all of these cars like one by one by one, all of them at least with one window broken. And even if you didn't lose anything valuable, it's just such a pain, first off, to get that fixed, and also just like an invasion of privacy makes you feel a lot less secure in this area that we all call home.
What's this guy wearing? You said?
This guy from the next clip is wearing a Scooby-Doo onesie. And he actually saw the break-ins go down.
A black car with like 3 guys, and they just kept busting windows. I witnessed it from the 3rd floor. I was shocked. Like I've never really experienced anything like that before. That was a Sunday night. Like people are they're resting inside. They're just chilling with their families, and then they have to deal with something like this.
I completely believe that he's never experienced anything like this before.
Yeah.
If he's an adult wearing a Scooby-Doo onesie, that makes sense to me.
And we need Scooby-Doo to solve this mystery too. So
yeah. Why didn't he go out and solve the crime?
Where are you?
He was ready to go. He should have solved that crime immediately. KIRO 7 also talked to, who is this, a sophomore at the school?
Yeah, and her car was one of the ones that got hit.
My driver's side window was smashed, and I was like, well, this is an awesome way to start my day. There's just like little shards everywhere still, even after vacuuming it and trying to brush it out. I know one of my friends, he got all 4 windows smashed, so it's at that point, it's like, why are you even doing it?
Yeah, that sucks. It sucks to get your car broken into. 133%, that's a problem if we're that much higher than the national average. Mm-hmm. Have you guys ever had cars broken into?
So I started making sure that I unlocked my car every night. So I
that's depressing.
I deviated away from locking my car to unlocking my car because it was like, you know what? I've gotten so many windows broke. Literally, I've probably had 7 or 8 windows broken. Yeah, over the last 15 years living in Seattle. A lot of that when I was, more living in Belltown, living in Queen Anne.
Sure. Higher trafficked areas of bad people.
I just started leaving my car unlocked because it's like, you know what? Just come actually into my car and look around and make sure there's nothing there. Just don't break my window.
Do you leave a note so that people know?
I did a couple of times.
You left a note in the window?
A couple of times.
What did it say?
Oh, it just said, hey, welcome, it was just kind of a comedic note, like, hey, we know that you're out there and there's nothing here in the car. It's unlocked.
Before you break into my car, I just want you to know,
Yeah.
I'm not judging you as a person.
Yeah.
Please enjoy. It's a nice, warm place to sleep tonight, but I do have work at 7 a.m., so if you could be out by then. Has anybody ever slept in your car?
Yep.
Have they really?
Yeah. No, we had.
Did you happen upon them in the morning?
I happened upon them in the morning. They were in the back seat. It was had a 4Runner, came up and was like, "Oh, hey, what's up?" He was just, I don't know how, I didn't move my car for 4 or 5 days during that time period. So I don't know. He could have just been in there for 2 or 3 days. I'm not sure.
Yeah.
But he was actually super nice.
Sure.
I woke him up. I was like, hey, how's it going? And he's like, oh, sorry, man. I'm like, it's all good, man. Have a good day. He just walked away.
You weren't worried that he left any paraphernalia behind?
No, no, he did.
Check the seats before your kids get in?
Yeah, no, there was definitely paraphernalia.
Have you seen the other guys? Have you seen the other guys with Will Ferrell and Mark Wahlberg? Have you seen that, Laura? No, you haven't seen it. Have you seen it?
I haven't seen it.
Look up on YouTube over the break. Look up on YouTube. There's a scene about Dirty Mike and the boys. Check that out.
Dirty Mike.
And the boys. Yeah, he leaves a nice note in the car. All right, we got a lot more coming up. Thank you for letting me whine to you and complain, but I think it's a justified complaint about Starbucks.
It is.
And I'm hoping that they solve that problem, and I eagerly await the new CEO's response. All right. Food dyes are going away. We'll tell you about that. Artificial dyes in your food. What does that mean for the foods that you've grown to love and love looking at? We'll talk about it next. Stick around. We'll be right back.
This hour is brought to you by Caesars Sportsbook at Muckleshoot Casino.
She's local.
I grew up in Olympia.
She's experienced.
I've been very lucky to be in Seattle for 23 years.
Now, Manda Factor is home on KIRO News Radio.
This is where I want to be. It's where I've always wanted to be.
Experience matters. Experience for yourself. Seattle's Morning News with Charlie Harger and Manda Factor. Every morning 6 to 9 on KIRO News Radio 97.3 FM.
Are you looking at diversification and stability with your investment portfolio, especially with the volatility right now in the stock market? Hi, I'm Scott Riereka, CEO of Legacy Group Capital based in Bellevue. We've been running local real estate investment funds for over 18 years. We've had 0 investor losses and have averaged double-digit returns since inception. Maybe it's time to take a little risk off the table given market conditions. For stability, there's no better option than Legacy Group's Northwest Fund, a fixed return of 9%. Legacy's Northwest Fund also accepts IRA accounts as well. Find out why over 1,000 local investors have invested over $250 million in our Legacy family of funds. Get in touch with us today. Legacy's Northwest Fund returning 9% has limited opening for new investors right now.
Call 425-635-4700 or visit LegacyG.com. That's LegacyG.com. This is not investment advice. Legacy investments available to accredited investors only. Details at LegacyG.com.
Hi, I'm Smokey Bear, and I made an assistant to help you out because only you can prevent wildfires.
Hey, Assistant Smokey Bear. Call me Papa Bear because I'm grilling up dinner. Do you get it?
Yes, good job.
So, what should I do with all these coals?
Don't just toss them out. Put them in a metal container because those embers can start a wildfire.
I understand. The stakes are high.
Ha, 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 ha.
Learn more at SmokeyBear.com.
Brought to you by the U.S. Forest Service, your state forester, and the Ad Council.
This message comes from Viking, committed to exploring the world in comfort. Journey through the heart of Europe on an elegant Viking longship with thoughtful service, destination-focused dining, and cultural enrichment on board and on shore. With small ships that bring travelers closer to the destination, there's more time to explore. And every Viking voyage is all-inclusive, with no children and no casinos. Discover more at Viking.com.
Need a new roof now? With State Roofing and Exteriors, you can get started with 0 down, 0 payments, and 0 interest for up to 24 months. That's right. Protect your home now and pay later. Call 866-ROOF-ROOF or visit stateroofing.com today.
Hi, John Curley here. It's a great time to upgrade with incredible savings on ultra-efficient heat pumps. Take advantage of local utility rebates up to $5,000 off on heat pumps. And Eastsiders save up to $6,000 with the Energy Smart Eastside program. Home Comfort Alliance is offering up to 10% off all heat pumps and air conditioning systems through April. Get both heating and cooling with an ultra-efficient heat pump in one unit. Plus, enjoy 18 months, same as cash financing. Call Home Comfort Alliance, the comfort people. Visit HomeComfortAlliance.com.
Imagine finding your dream home and moving in right away. No waiting to sell your old place first. Sounds perfect, right? That's exactly what Orchard's Move First, Sell Later program lets you do. Buy your new home now and sell the old one later. Here's how it works. Orchard gives you cash so you can buy and move into your new home first on your timeline. No waiting, no showings, no double moves. Then the Orchard experts take it from there. They handle repairs on your old home for you so you attract the right buyers. Once they're done, a local Orchard agent lists and sells your home for top dollar. Orchard's Move First program gives you the freedom to buy and move into your new home first and sell your old home later. Buy before you sell and get top dollar for your home with Orchard. Ready to find out how much your home is worth? Visit Orchard.com to get your free home valuation. That's Orchard.com.
When the heat's in 11,
Cool AC would be heaven.
dayandnight.net.
Beat the rush.
Act now before summer.
Because that heat's a real bummer.
Dayandnight.net.
Even though our Northwest summers can be spectacular, there's always a long, hot stretch that makes everyone say, man, AC sure would be nice. Well, except for that one annoying friend who won't stop talking about how great his AC is. Hi, I'm Bruce with Day and Night Plumbing and Heating. You can stay comfortably cool when those hot temps arrive. This is the time to plan ahead and call us about installing a high-efficiency AC or heat pump. Or if you have an existing system, we'll come and service it. Make sure it's running efficiently and ready to cool when you need it.
Before the summer heat wave.
Keep your house cool and save.
Dayandnight.net. Save up to $4,600 on qualifying cooling equipment, plus no payments or interest for a year OAC. Don't sweat it out this summer. Stay cool with Day and Night.
Dayandnight.net. Cars for Kids, your trusted charity for car donations, also accepts donations of boats, RVs, motorcycles, and real estate. Call today, 877-CARS4KIDS.
Announcing the Million Hour Volunteer Rally. Donate your time to local food banks or host a food drive. You can win groceries for a year and a $5,000 donation. Visit albertsons.com/volunteer to learn more.
KIRO News Radio 97.3 FM Northwest News. Now, the latest from KIRO News Radio and mynorthwest.com.
Good afternoon. I'm Heather Bosch. Washington state lawmakers are poised to pass new requirements for purchasing guns. More from KIRO News Radio's Matt Markovich.
You'll need to submit fingerprints, pass a background check, and complete a state-certified safety course that includes live firing of 50 rounds. And then you can get a permit to buy a gun, all of it at your expense. Law enforcement, military, armed security guards, and private eyes are exempt. People with concealed weapons permits don't need the background check, but do need to satisfy the live fire training. Supporters say the bill will save lives. Opponents say it creates a backdoor registry and won't stop criminals from getting guns. It would take effect May 1st, 2027. Matt Markovich, KIRO News Radio.
An attorney for the family of a 2-year-old whose parents were shot dead at a Chicago 4th of July parade says he will pursue a civil lawsuit against the gunmaker.
These gun massacres are not just the byproduct of one lone deranged individual at a time. And if there are not common sense steps taken to make sure that dangerous weapons do not get in the hands of dangerous people, we're going to be right back here.
Today, the convicted parade shooter was sentenced to life in prison without parole. 7 people died. Overseas, Russian airstrikes pound the Ukrainian capital of Kyiv. CBS's Holly Williams.
At least 9 people lost their lives. Diplomacy won't work here, said Oksana Bilazir. There simply aren't words to express what a monster Vladimir Putin is.
Today, President Trump called the Russian airstrikes unnecessary and bad timing. He's trying to broker a peace deal with largely favorable terms for Russia. President Trump is weighing in on China's decision to stop taking delivery of Boeing airplanes in light of the U.S.-China trade war. CBS's Michael Wallace.
Trump posted on social media that Boeing should default China for not taking the finished planes it committed to buy. He says it's just a small example of what China has done to the U.S. for years.
Boeing is looking for other buyers for the 50 planes China has ordered. Tariffs the U.S. has put on foreign imports will have an impact on small businesses, so says Isabel Guzman, the former head of the Small Business Administration.
1 million small businesses export their products and services abroad, or those who import. 2/3 of small businesses rely on some sort of imported product or service.
She says the impact will be wide-sweeping. On Wall Street, the Dow was up 413 points, NASDAQ ahead 386. From the Beacon Plumbing Traffic Desk, in Auburn, a crash is blocking a lane on State Route 18 westbound. You're backed up to the Mountain View Cemetery. Further up 18 at the Tiger Mountain Summit, construction and an earlier disabled vehicle has you backed up to I-90. You are slow along JBLM due to an earlier crash. Travel time Olympia to Tacoma is 36 minutes, about 7 minutes longer than typical. Traffic brought to you by Beacon Plumbing. For all your heating, electrical, septic, and mechanical needs, stop freaking, call Beacon. This weather update brought to you by State Roofing and Exteriors. Sunshine today with highs around 70. It's 61 in downtown Seattle. I'm Heather Bosch.
Your best source for local news. You're listening to KIRO Newsradio Northwest News.
Welcome back to the show. Laura, you are a wizard with audio. Or what's a female wizard called? You're a witch. You're a witch with audio.
She's a witch.
She's an
Careful
audio
with that
witch. I should be careful with that one. We made a reference. Tim Gatos joins us. Spike O'Neill is out. He's getting ready for his daughter's wedding this weekend. And you were just telling us, interestingly, that you have gotten so used to your car being broken into that you will just leave a note and allow people to you say, hey, just let you know, my car's open. Please don't break in. Sometimes they sleep in your car.
Yep.
Which you have found.
That's right.
You had never seen the other guys, but it reminded me of Dirty Mike and the boys. So Laura grabbed this audio, that witch, and we're going to play this audio for you real fast. And Tim, I just want you to think of this next time you let a homeless gentleman sleep in your car.
I'm scared.
Here you go. Oh, audio here.
Well, here she is. They left her under an overpass for the night.
Did you find anything?
Yeah, we found a lot of stuff. From bodily fluid and hair samples, we determined that a bunch of old homeless dudes had an orgy in the car.
Oh, God.
Yeah. You know what that's called when they do that in there? It's called a soup kitchen. It's pretty rough stuff.
Any signs of a struggle or spent shells?
No. Believe me, everybody that was in on this orgy was more than willing. In fact, they even left you a note here. Thanks for the shack. Love Dirty Mike and the boys.
That's nice.
It's my first brand new car. Never owned a new car.
Watch out, in the back, there's a baby mouse and a used
Okay, that's all we need. Yep, that's all we need.
Yeah, so
watch out for that, Tim. That's all I'm saying. Watch out for that. All right, we got a lot of other stuff to get to, and so we will. Did you guys see this? Have you guys been following all of this artificial food dye announcements that have been happening? RFKJ,
yeah.
Maha. This is one of his...
Get your hands off my food dye.
Yeah, well, this is one of his things that he really dislikes is all the artificial food dye. And my wife hates it as well. So we don't have a lot of artificial food dye in our house. And we pay a lot of money for foods that don't have these things because it's way cheaper for these huge food manufacturers to put in artificial food dyes and preservatives and all these things that make our food last forever.
Right.
But is it the healthiest thing for us? No.
Yeah,
Short
no.
answer is no. And so they've decided, tell us about this. They're cutting back on these food dyes. Isn't that right, Tim?
Clark Griswold is upset about this.
Yeah, you're right. I forgot. That's his thing. That
was his thing. The preservatives and the additives. And I tell you.
Non-nutritive food what is it? A non-nutritive food additive or something. Yeah. This milk is 7 years old.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
Well, I tell you, as a child of the 70s and 80s, it's like that's what we live on, right? Like that's it. That was part of the food staples of growing up in that era.
You're literally made of Red 40.
That's right.
Which is one of the things that's now banned.
That's crazy.
The FDA is banning these things. So they want to eliminate these by the end of 2026. So it's kind of a phase out. It's not like all these major food manufacturers are going to have to shut these down immediately, but they are going to have to figure out a way to phase them out. And there are people who are saying, well, how are they going to do this? Isn't this going to be tough for them? There's this article from Coin, which is kind of like it's just a news station down in Portland. Listen to this headline. I thought this was kind of interesting. Eliminating these this is an X post they put out where I found this. They said eliminating these entirely would require reformulating lots of popular foods from cereal to candy to soda and sports drinks. Okay, I'm fine with that.
Yeah.
Aren't you okay with that?
No, absolutely. Absolutely. I mean, I'd love to see a little more like conclusive scientific data around it, because sometimes I think we all are. Everyone's like, oh, yeah, of course. I mean, why would you put that in your body?
Sure.
That sounds terrible. But it also would be nice to see some conclusive scientific data behind it as well, in terms of like connect some dots for us.
Well,
I'd like to see some dots connected.
We could look up the date that they did this, but I think it was actually, I could be wrong. I think it was during Biden's administration, but they got rid of one of the red dyes. Do you guys remember this? They got rid of one of the red dyes recently, and they had said that there's connections between this and cancer. But there's obviously everything causes cancer,
right?
Especially if you're in California, every single thing has a cancer warning on it.
Right.
But they said there is some connections between this dye and cancer down the road, so we're getting rid of it. And that's a good thing, get rid of things that might cause cancer. This is RFK talking. This was at a Tuesday presser. This is just earlier in the week, 2 days ago, talking about why they want to get rid of artificial dyes.
It's not the time to stop. It's the time to redouble your efforts, because we have them on the run now. And we are going to win this battle. And 4 years from now, we're going to have most of these products off the market, or you will know about them when you go in the grocery store.
The FDA commissioner, a guy by the name of Marty Makary, he was talking about why they're doing this and how they're going to do it.
For the last 50 years, American children have increasingly been living in a toxic soup of synthetic chemicals. The scientific community has conducted a number of studies raising concerns about the correlation between petroleum-based synthetic dyes and several health conditions, such as attention deficit hyperactivity disorder, obesity, diabetes, insulin resistance, cancer, genomic disruption, GI issues, as I've seen in the hospital, and allergic reactions. Parents, moms and dads, have also tried to raise attention to the issue. Some parents have observed that these chemicals cause hyperactivity and even aggressive behavior, and that it subsides when the chemicals are removed from the diet of the child.
I want to pause it there real fast. I also wonder if these dyes are accompanying sugar-rich foods.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
And I know when I feed my kids any of these foods that they get hyper and crazy. So is that dye? Is that sugar?
Right.
I don't know. But
well, I tell you, have you looked at those things? There's folks that talk about what life used to be like in the 1910s and the 20s, right?
Sure.
And they would talk about life, and they would talk about health and fitness, and then they juxtapose it to today.
Yeah.
Right. And you're like, okay, what are the differences between then and now? Obviously, there's no question we are way more unhealthy. We're way more obese.
Just fat, raw fat.
All of these things, right? Yeah. And what are the indicators? And they always say in the top two, this is one of the indicators, that things that we've introduced into our kind of normal food stream that is different than
Sugars and everything too, which is another thing that they're talking about. RFK was talking about how sugar is going to be the next thing. Right now, it's food dyes that they're getting rid of, and then after that, they're going after sugar.
Is there one thing, Jake, that you love that has food dye in it that you're very upset about this, or you're concerned?
I'm not concerned because I don't think the food dye affects the taste of the foods that I love. I mean, it's not like I'm just thrilled to be eating Cheetos all day, and if they're not that very specific color of orange, it's going to ruin the experience. Hot Cheetos and Takis. I don't eat those. Yeah. I don't eat those either. Is this a Gatorade thing? I assume that Gatorade doesn't come by those colors naturally.
I'm not sure.
Those must be food dyes.
Yeah, it must be.
So the interesting thing, though, is that they already make these. So one of the big concerns is for the food manufacturers, well, how are they going to figure out how to do this? Because they have all these ingredients, blah, blah, blah. In other countries, listen to this. This is really interesting. I looked into this. For comparison, in other markets. So in the UK, New Zealand, and parts of Europe, synthetic food dyes, like the ones that are being banned now in the US, are already banned. And they often, if they do have any of them, they require warning labels to tell you that these things can be really bad. Everything else has to be naturally colored, which is great. And so these huge food suppliers already make these foods and deliver them to other countries using these like more natural ingredients.
Yeah.
Like in Italy, you go and eat food in Italy, everything looks great.
Amazing.
And it tastes amazing.
Yeah.
And it looks fine. You don't care about what it looks like.
And they live till like they're 99.
They live till they're 99. So they're already setting the foods. So now they're just going to start making those same things here for us in the United States. I think this is a great thing.
Yeah.
I'm happy about this.
Yeah, absolutely.
I have no complaints about this.
And I just want to highlight this segment and the theme of soup, because he talked about toxic soup.
Yeah.
In that last audio.
Dirty Mike and the boys.
and then we had Dirty Mike. So
full circle moment
here.
Not quite as appetizing as I think we want to make it for the foods. I don't know if that's going to help sell it, but I do like where your head's at. Very good. All right, we got a lot more coming up. We got today's draft day in the NFL. We got some big news on that front, so stick around. We will talk about that next.
Hey there, I'm Chris Sullivan, traffic reporter for KIRO News Radio. The favorite part about my job is helping you get answers to your traffic questions.
Will this construction ever end?
How do you zipper merge?
Just how close is tailgating?
Now I need your help. What burning questions do you have? What should I be looking into? You can help drive the conversation by going to mynorthwest.com or text choke points to 888-973-5476. Who knows? Maybe you'll be the star of my next Choke Points story. Presented by Carter Subaru.
Ladies and gentlemen, this is for you too. Stubborn fat is really hard to get rid of, and then there's all those gimmicky lasers, fat freezing methods, and prescriptions. Imagine a simple solution that takes just one day and provides immediate noticeable results. Introducing ProSculpt. ProSculpt uses air-assisted technology that's safe and gentle yet powerful, delivering instant fat-reducing and skin-tightening results. Performed by board-certified plastic surgeons while fully awake, ProSculpt contours your body with minimal downtime. It's designed to target those problem areas: waistline, neck, face, arms, thighs. ProSculpt gently removes unwanted fat and tightens loose skin with FDA-cleared plasma technology, all in a simple, guaranteed one-day procedure. ProSculpt is one and done. Schedule your free consultation at prosculpt.com for $250 off. For powerful permanent fat removal and skin tightening that works for ladies and you men, it's prosculpt.com.
Need a new roof but not in the budget? A new roof doesn't have to break the bank. Justin Shirley, CEO of State Roofing and Exteriors here. Right now, State Roofing and Exteriors is offering 0 down, 0 payments, and 0 interest for up to 24 months. That's 2 years with no payments while getting the protection your home deserves. But this offer won't last forever. Call 866-ROOF-ROOF or visit stateroofing.com today to get on our summer schedule now. State Roofing and Exteriors, held to a higher standard since 1968.
Febreze. As a rideshare driver, I love keeping my car smelling fresh and clean. So when I'm driving, I only trust Febreze car vent clips, featuring 3 distinct intensity settings, because it's that little touch that sets me apart. I can turn the intensity down for subtle freshness, or I can turn it up for when I want lots of scent. So whether it's set to low, medium, or high, with Febreze car, I know my car's going to smell amazing. Which keeps my driver rating right where it belongs. Picking up Oscar!
Johns Hopkins University has found that just mild hearing loss doubles your risk of dementia, so hearing loss isn't something to ignore.
But hearing aids are so expensive and ugly.
Not anymore. Meet Audien Hearing. You can get nearly invisible hearing aids without a prescription starting at $98 a pair, and they're ready to use right out of the box. Rated the best hearing aids of 2025 by Forbes Health, and with over 1 million customers, Audien is easy to trust. Visit audienhearing.com. That's AUDIEN hearing.com.
the team that gave me back my full head of hair, Advanced Hair, is once again the winner of the 425 Business of the Year. Dr. Perungo and his world-class team begin regrowing your own natural hair the very next day. And Advanced Hair guarantees your new hair will grow, just like they did for me. Find out why Advanced Hair is the best of the best. With your free consultation, you'll receive $250 off and 250 free hair grafts. 425-449-8185 or advancedhair.com.
1-877 Cars for Kids. KARS Cars for Kids. 1-877 Cars for Kids. Donate your car today. 1-877 Cars for Kids. KARS Cars for Kids. 1-877 Cars for Kids. Donate your car today.
Donate your car today at carsforkids.org. That's cars with a K. Your car, running or not, can be picked up as soon as the next day. You'll get a maximum tax deduction and a vacation voucher.
1-877 Cars for Kids. KARS Cars for Kids. 1-877 Cars for Kids. Donate your car today.
Now accepting donations of land, homes, buildings, or any kind of real estate.
State officials say there's a $12 billion hole in the budget, and fixing it is an emergency. But just a few years ago, the state had a budget surplus just as large. And only a few months ago, state government added billions more in spending. Tax collections are at record high. Some state officials say tax revenues are below average. Not quite adding up. To see the numbers for yourself and learn more about the state budget, visit budgetbreakdown.org. That's budgetbreakdown.org.
In the market for a new car, Carter Subaru has the vehicle you've been searching for with over 300 new ones in stock, including the 2025 Outback now with 2.9% financing for 36 months, or go electric with the 2025 Solterra EV, 0% APR for 72 months on approved credit. Shop with the Carter Subaru Advantage and enjoy valet parking at their Ballard dealership and at-home delivery across all locations.
On approved credit, subject to vehicle insurance and availability. A documentary service fee may be added to the sale price or capitalized cost. See dealer for details. Valid through 4/30/25.
Celebrate 50 years of blues greatness with the fabulous Thunderbirds. Join Kim Wilson and the band at Dimitro's Jazz Alley, April 24th through 27th. And next up, new jazz master saxophonist Gary Bartz. Tickets at jazzalley.com.
Hi, this is Keith Dashafee, owner of Pella Windows and Doors of Western Washington. Are you ready to enhance your home with stunning, energy-efficient windows and doors? At Pella, we offer top-quality products with innovative designs and exceptional craftsmanship. And right now, we're offering an amazing deal. Enjoy 12 months with no interest and no payments, or get 40% off qualifying installs. My team is dedicated to helping you every step of the way. Visit PellaPNW.com to schedule your free appointment today. That's PellaPNW.com.
Welcome back to the show. A lot of stuff to get to. The NFL draft is happening. Do you watch the NFL draft, Tim? A little bit.
I'm more of an NBA draft guy, but
okay. Who are you excited about in the NFL right now? Do you watch a lot of Seahawks?
I do.
Yeah. And they have the 18th pick, is that right?
Yeah. I mean, they've got what I get excited about is some of these homegrown guys that are looking to be in the first or second round, which is super exciing. It's always fun to see.
A bunch. Yeah.
There is. I mean, there's a guy who went to Stillicum High School who is potentially in one of the top draft positions, as well as Josh Connerly, who is a stud. Yep.
Is he UW?
No, he was Oregon.
Oregon. Okay.
Yeah, he was Oregon. And then
there's a guy from the Huskies. Oh, Carson Bruner.
Carson Bruner, whose dad, Mark Bruner, played for the Dogs.
I mean, I'm saying
back
sure.
in the day.
I didn't know that, but I'm saying sure.
Yeah.
Like I knew who that was.
And then JT, and I always butcher his last name.
I'll tell you if you get it right. Go ahead.
Tumalau.
I actually don't know.
Okay.
But I'm going to say that's correct.
Seriously?
Yeah.
Thank you.
But I don't know. So you could have actually just butchered it.
So it's interesting because last year we had,
And he's from Eastside Catholic.
He's from Eastside Catholic.
Bunch of local homegrown talent.
This year is like a flip of last year. Like the Huskies had 10 guys drafted last year, one of the biggest drafts, but none of them were really grew up here in the state of Washington. This year, Huskies aren't going to have a lot of guys drafted, maybe just one, but there's a lot of homegrown guys that are going to get drafted.
This was Fox Sports NFL draft analyst Rob Rang. He said that the 2025 class out of the Pacific Northwest is unparalleled. He said the 2025 class is absolutely the best I've ever seen. This year's class features a couple of players, maybe a trio, that are legitimate first-round candidates that the Seahawks fans and anybody from the local Pacific Northwest area are going to be very familiar with. You mentioned the guy from Steilacoom. You want to take a chance at that name?
Well, I could say his first name. Great, Emeka.
Egbuka.
Egbuka.
Okay, Emeka Egbuka, who plays at Ohio. Who played at Ohio State? Is that right?
Yep.
Played at Ohio State. We got the other guy you just mentioned, who was out of Eastside Catholic. JT. Say that name one more time.
Man, why are you doing this to me?
Because I don't want to get it wrong. You're the fill-in host. I can throw it on you.
Tumalau.
Okay. JT Tumalau. And then we also have, let's see here, Carson Bruner, who's from the Huskies. They said he may have to wait until later rounds, but he's apparently very impressive during the combine, and he might find a special team spot. It's pretty cool to see local guys have success at the next level.
Yeah. I get more excited about that than I do some of the when like University of Washington Husky players get drafted who are from other locations. I mean, that's still cool, but I love seeing homegrown guys.
Yeah,
I mean, you hope that they go to UW, but unfortunately we've lost more than have stayed around.
Especially with that college portal thing that happens now.
Yeah.
They're just gone all the time.
Right. I know.
Did you hear about Tyler Lockett? He signed a new deal.
Did he?
He signed a deal with the Tennessee Titans. $6 million he's going to get. He made this announcement. He said, "I'm excited to be a Tennessee Titan. I'm super thankful and grateful. Let's get it. God, you get all the glory. Thankful, grateful. God gets all the glory." I'm excited for him. I love Tyler Lockett.
Yeah, good guy.
He's a really good dude. He's got a really cool story. He was great for the Seahawks. He was kind of always an underdog, and I don't think anybody ever expected him to be as good as he was.
Yeah.
So I love seeing that. And also, I mean, what did he play, 10 years with the Seahawks?
Yeah, long time.
That's a super long career.
It's a long time in the NFL for sure.
Yeah, in the NFL. And now he gets a chance to go. And I mean, Tennessee would be a really cool town to play football in also.
Oh, they're nuts about it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, and his whole NFL experience is going to be different there. Like living in the Pacific Northwest versus living in Tennessee and playing for the Titans is going to be a very different. He's making a lot less money.
A lot less.
When he was playing for the Seahawks, his 2024, what was he making? 2024 salary, $18.95 million. He's going to be making he's going to be making $4 million with the Titans, but he could make as much as $6 million with bonuses, which I'm sure he'll make because he's great. But he doesn't need money anymore at this point. You've been in the NFL that long. You're making that much every year. Not every year, but he's making that much for a lot of years. Now he's just doing it because he still loves the sport. Yeah. And he can still be competitive.
Right.
He can still do it.
I mean, you kind of hope some of these guys end up they stay with the one team. I mean, that's, I think, a fan's dream, right?
For them to retire.
Right. The Edgar Martinez and, the people, the Steve Largents, they stay with one team. And that just doesn't happen anymore.
Doesn't happen anymore. No. All right, so we're happy for Lockett. Congratulations. We hope he does very well, but if he's playing against the Seahawks, I hope he loses horribly. We have a lot more coming up. Jason Rance is going to join us next. There's a local park in town. People are doing some, actually, there's a Dirty Mike situation happening at a local park in town. We'll tell you about it. Stick around.
It's time. The new phase of premium view lots at Natchez RV Resort is open. Don't miss your opportunity to get first pick. Tide, tell us about it.
Our new phase features incredible extra-large RV lots with amazing unobstructed views. And talk about privacy, nothing will be developed behind them. And these lots start at just $80,000.
Natchez RV Resort has 300 days of sunshine and year-round family fun. Pickleball, playground, dog park, miles of recreational trails. Plus, you have fishing, hunting, skiing, and golf nearby. And don't forget wine tasting. Yakima Valley has been voted the #1 best wine region in the U.S.
Natchez RV Resort also features a 4,300 square foot clubhouse with gourmet kitchen, great room, fitness center, showers, and laundry. Plus, the brand new saltwater swimming pool and hot tub are open and ready for you.
Get your perfect pick of Natchez RV Resort's premium view lots, starting at just $80,000. Reserve your showing now. 800-422-6009. 800-422-6009. NatchezRVResort.com.
The preseason AC sale is on now at Bob's Heating and Air Conditioning. This month only, keep your home cool and your wallet comfortable comfortable with 15% off. Plus, free financing on all air conditioners, heat pumps, and ductless systems. Trust the team voted best in the Pacific Northwest and call Bob's today for your free estimate. Hurry, the discount reduces to 10% off in May. Call Bob's Heating and Air Conditioning today.
Bob's Heating and Air Conditioning. Call Bob.
This is a story of the one. As a maintenance specialist for university housing, he knows college students can major in wear and tear. Plus, housing so many students doesn't leave a lot of room to house all the supplies he needs. That's where Grainger comes in. With over 1 million industrial-grade products and fast, dependable delivery, Grainger carries the quality products he needs so he doesn't have to. From a new door hinge to a whole new faucet. Call, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
Wesley Financial Group is not a law firm.
Are you a victim of the timeshare trap and think there's no way out? I'm Chuck McDowell, founder of Wesley Financial Group, the original timeshare cancellation expert. And I'm here to tell you that there is a way out. All you need to do is give my office a call. I will send you a timeshare exit information kit absolutely free, explaining how the timeshare industry works and your options for cancellation.
Call Wesley now for your free info kit. 800-371-0505. 800-371-0505.
With Progressive, renters can save on protection for the things that make your place yours, even things that don't make sense to everyone.
People always wonder why I don't get rid of my guitar since I never play. But it's like, what if I actually end up taking lessons? Sure, I've had it for 8 years, but if I get rid of it, then what will my New Year's resolution be next January?
Exactly. So bundle your renters and auto and save with Progressive and protect the things that make sense to you. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and affiliates and other insurers not available in all states or situations. Covered subject to policy terms and conditions.
This is a story of the one. As a maintenance specialist for university housing, he knows college students can major in wear and tear. Plus, housing so many students doesn't leave a lot of room to house all the supplies he needs. That's where Grainger comes in. With over 1 million industrial-grade products and fast, dependable delivery, Grainger carries the quality products he needs so he doesn't have to. From a new door hinge to a whole new faucet. Call, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
The team that gave me back my full head of hair, Advanced Hair, is once again the winner of the 425 Business of the Year. Dr. Parango and his world-class team begin regrowing your own natural hair the very next day. And Advanced Hair guarantees your new hair will grow, just like they did for me. Find out why Advanced Hair is the best of the best. With your free consultation, you'll receive $250 off and 250 free hair grafts. 425-449-8185 or advancedhair.com.
Stop struggling to get your job posts seen on other job sites. Indeed's Sponsored Jobs feature helps you stand out and hire fast. Start at Indeed.com/credit.
KIRO FM and HD1 Tacoma, Seattle.
This is CBS News on the Hour, sponsored by Steel.
I'm Cammie McCormick. President Trump says he's putting the pressure on Russia to win the war in Ukraine.
Very simply, I have no allegiance to anybody. I have allegiance to saving lives.
CBS's Nancy Cordes at the White House.
President Trump was asked point blank, what concessions has Russia offered so far to show that it's serious about making a deal? What is Russia willing to give up? And in a really eye-opening moment, the president said, well, they're willing to stop the war. They're willing to not take over the entire country. That is not something that most U.S. allies would view as a major concession. What we're hearing right now does not sound like a deal that Ukraine would be prepared to take at the end of the day.
Scott McFarlane has the latest on the Maryland man mistakenly deported to El Salvador.
Federal judge overseeing that case in Maryland has just pushed back a deadline. She's now agreed to wait until Wednesday of next week for the administration to answer some pivotal questions here, including about a return of Abrego Garcia from the Salvadoran detention center, and also why he's there in the first place, and a whole series of other questions Abrego Garcia's lawyers have put forward.
There have been a number of court actions today on the administration's policies. One judge blocked orders to end DEI in K-12 public schools. Another blocked the denial of funds to sanctuary cities. And yet another halted a requirement of proof of citizen to register to vote. Legal analyst Jessica Levinson.
I think when you look at just the sheer volume of executive orders and the breadth of these orders, then it is not a surprise that we are seeing all of these legal actions and that we are seeing a number of these executive actions that are put on hold.
The administration has asked the Supreme Court to allow enforcement of a ban on transgender service members. While that plays out in the courts, there's been an arrest in New Jersey in connection with a large wildfire there. Michael Wallace reports.
Investigators say 19-year-old Joseph Kling started a bonfire using wooden pallets in Waretown, but left it without extinguishing the flames. The fire quickly spread into Lacey Township, where it destroyed a business and threatened hundreds of homes. Kling faces arson charges.
That fire is still not fully contained. An Illinois man, Robert Cremo, was sentenced today for killing 7 people at a 2022 Independence Day parade. Legal analyst Thane Rosenbaum.
Many of the victims' families testified in the sentencing phase of the trial, and those expressions of grief no doubt influenced the severity of the sentence.
Cremo pleaded guilty just last month, moments before his trial was to begin. This is CBS News.
Steel walk behind, zero turn, and stand-on mowers are built to get the job done. Shop online or at your local Steel dealer. Steel, let's go mow.
Pierce County on track to break a dubious record. That story coming up. But first, from the Beacon Plumbing Traffic Desk. In Auburn, it looks like the crash has been cleared from State Route 18 westbound. Further up 18 at the Tiger Mountain Summit, construction and an earlier disabled vehicle has you backed up to I-90. You're a little slow along JBLM due to construction and an earlier crash. Travel time Olympia to Tacoma is only about 5 minutes longer than usual, though. Travel time Everett to Seattle, 35 minutes. Federal Way to Seattle, 24. Renton to Bellevue, 16. All of those just about on target. Traffic brought to you by Beacon Plumbing. For all your heating, electrical, septic, and mechanical needs, stop freaking, call Beacon.
KIRO News Radio 97.3 FM Northwest News. Now, the latest from KIRO News Radio and mynorthwest.com.
Good afternoon. I'm Heather Bosch. Pierce County is on track to break a record for homicides. Deputy Carly Capetto.
This time last year, we weren't even at 9 homicides till July.
The latest happened last night in Spanaway. Neighbors heard gunfire and found a fatally wounded young man in the middle of a cul-de-sac. No arrests yet. A not guilty plea today from a rideshare driver charged with groping and restraining a 16-year-old passenger in Bellevue. Officer Drew Anderson says the driver convinced the girl to sit in the front seat.
Allegedly made the sexual advances on the juvenile and tried to prevent her from escaping.
The 43-year-old Lyft driver is charged with indecent liberties and unlawful imprisonment. He's being held on $150,000 bail. A former JBLM soldier is sentenced to life in prison for murdering a Redicab driver. KIRO 7 TV's Jake Chapman has details.
It's the moment of closure loved ones of Nick Hokema have been waiting for.
This doesn't bring him back, and it doesn't complete that family picture. But he got some justice.
Private Jonathan Kang Lee, the JBLM soldier who went AWOL in January of last year and killed Hokema, pled guilty to his murder and was sentenced to life in prison with the possibility of parole and a dishonorable discharge.
Lee was previously convicted of child sex crimes and will serve 64 additional years on top of his new sentence. Washington state Republicans walk out of a key House committee yesterday to protest the closing of 2 schools for the severely disabled. State Representative April Connors.
What I'm hearing today is we don't have a plan. We have nowhere there for them to go.
Democrats say moving residents out of the schools and into community adult homes would save more than $500,000 a year. Republican leaders in Olympia say Democrats are keeping them in the dark as they finalize the state's budget. House Minority Leader Drew Stokesbury.
We have no idea who these taxes are hitting, how much money is raising, who's going to have to pay.
KIRO News Radio's Matt Markovich says Democrats admit they've been negotiating behind closed doors.
Democrat June Robinson told the Washington State Standard that they hope to have a goal of releasing the operating budget by Saturday morning and then vote on it Sunday, the last scheduled day of the session.
They're trying to close a multi-billion-dollar gap in a budget that has record spending. This weather update brought to you by State Roofing and Exteriors. Sunshine today with highs around 70. It's 63 in downtown Seattle. I'm Heather Bosch.
Your best source for local news, serving Western Washington and the world with a KIRO News Radio app. Always streaming live on your smart speakers. You're listening to KIRO News Radio Northwest News. It's the all-new Jake and Spike Show on KIRO News Radio.
Welcome back to the show. I'm Jake Skorheim, your host. Spike O'Neill is out. He is getting ready to celebrate his daughter's nuptials. Very exciting times. He's going to be walking her down the aisle. He'll have all those details on Monday. He's going to be back, so he can tell us all about that. Filling in today is Tim Gatos, who joins us. Tim, we have a lot to talk about this hour. And the number one story we're going to start with is one that is very near and dear to all of our hearts because we all love nude beaches. There's a park in, I didn't even know this was a thing. There's a nude beach in Washington, not just in Washington, but in Seattle, called Denny Blaine Park. And this is where you can go and get nude and be near the water if you want, if that's your thing. Jason Rantz from the Jason Rantz Show on 770 KTTH, famous author, TV personality, and also radio host, joins us now. Jason, welcome to the show.
Thank you for having me.
Jason, tell me about this disgusting park.
So it's funny because it's not actually truly supposed to be a nude beach / park, sort of in the Central District neighborhood, but it has become that, and it's become a hot spot for the LGBT community. If you recall, several months ago, there was a controversy around this particular park because the neighbors were like, there's a lot of nude people. We got kids. This is inappropriate. This is illegal. Can we maybe get involved? Yeah. And someone in the neighborhood donated a playground to install there as basically to serve as a deterrent to the nudity.
Oh, yeah, because if you got kids around,
then it's a completely different story.
Theoretically, you shouldn't be naked around these kids.
And that was a buddy of the mayor. And the mayor actually lives not too far from there either.
Correct.
But
so what ended up happening as a result of that, activists within the LGBT community were saying, whoa, you are targeting us. You are targeting our space. This is bigoted. And essentially, the mayor's office decided to retreat and allow the nudity essentially to continue, just basically turn their head. But what was funny was as a result of that, it got a lot of news coverage and a lot of pervs started to realize, there is a nude beach and park in Seattle. So according to a lawsuit that was filed yesterday, a whole bunch of those pervs have showed up to engage in self-love while watching the folks who are nude.
Yikes.
And it's out in the open.
I have an insider source. Mm-hmm. I don't know if you know this, but I'm pretty tied into the insider community of nudists. I have a lot of moles. And one of my moles sent me some audio.
Oh, God.
Do you want to hear this?
Not really, but okay. I'm terrified now.
This is from one of my moles.
We determined that a bunch of old homeless dudes had an orgy in the car.
Oh, God.
Yeah. You know what that's called when they do that in there? It's called a soup kitchen. It's pretty rough stuff.
Pretty rough stuff. So what is happening at these parks?
There's a lot of people, men who are showing up and masturbating in public.
Oh, don't say
And unfortunately, the people who live there see this as an obvious escalation in the conduct at this park. This is undoubtedly illegal. Public nudity is not, in fact, illegal in Washington state. This part of it is absolutely illegal, and they say that it's so.
Well, as long as it's not, they say, an affront or harming someone, correct?
It can't. Correct. It also can't be lewd. So,
this is a lewd activity.
This is a lewd activity, and the city has known this for a while now. And the lawsuit by the neighbors in this area basically saying, "Look, the city hasn't been doing its job. They've not cleaned this up." And to make matters worse, I did find, pardon the pun, I did find an RFP from the city that they were considering on how to work on this particular park. Mm-hmm. And, the request for proposal, ADA compliant lanes, parking, which is, that's awesome. But also to build a, quote, public masturbation deterrent infrastructure.
Yikes.
Which
PBID. What's the acronym on that?
It's PMDI.
Oh.
PMDA.
Okay.
Say that again. A
public masturbation deterrent infrastructure, which I'm pretty sure just means a wall.
Yeah.
That's the only thing it could possibly be. It's just a wall around this park so the individuals can't see.
Could also be
nudity.
like a statue of like everybody's frowning parents, just like, what are you doing?
Yeah, it's like just a judgmental look.
Just a
of like,
judgmental grandmother type.
There have been arrests here. There have been charges here. This is a nightmare, and this goes well beyond some sort of claim of you're just prudes. You don't want any nudity. Which
is it the masturbation that's increased? Is that because that wasn't really happening at? That wasn't happening.
It wasn't happening to the extent that they allege is happening now.
Yeah,
and I got a hold of all the materials from the lawsuit yesterday, and it's all up at mynorthwest.com. I did withhold about 9 minutes of video.
So you do have video of this?
Yeah, it's on my computer. I'm scared.
Don't show me this video.
I'm scared to open it on my work computer. I'm going to get in trouble.
This is actually good news for the neighbors, honestly, right? It's like we were talking about Andor. I was watching the new season of Andor last night. We were talking about that earlier.
They have nudist beaches in the Star Wars universe?
They were talking.
Tell them what Andor is since you brought it up.
Yeah, it's a Star Wars story. Yeah. Cassian Andor, Rogue One. And in the episode that just released last night, they talked. They have
a nude beach.
They don't.
They have this problem there.
I know. I hope the Empire